Olivia. I'm Detective Hart. We are so sorry for your loss. May we have a moment of your time?
The rain in Silver Creek didn't feel like rain. It felt heavy, oily. Sarah Miller stood in the center of the brand new playground, staring at a bright yellow swing set that squeaked in the wind. It was empty. The whole town felt empty. He begged me to bring him here, Sarah whispered, clutching a wet photograph of a smiling 10-year-old boy. Every day after school, he said the ground felt bouncy. He loved it. Detective Olivia Hart tightened her grip on her umbrella. The water dripping off the edge looked unnaturally gray. When did the playground open? Olivia asked softly, eyes scanning the perimeter. 3 months ago, Sarah replied, voice breaking. Mr. Sterling cut the ribbon. He held Leo's hand. He smiled for the cameras. Detective Marcus Cole crouched near the jungle gym. He ran his gloved hand over the soft rubberized flooring. It looked perfect. Expensive. The toxicology report said, unknown environmental factors. Marcus noted, standing and wiping his glove. But the water tests are clean. The air quality index is better than in the city. Sarah's breath hitched. Then why is my son dead? She sobbed. And why is the Parker boy in the ICU? And the twins next door? Olivia stepped closer. She placed a steady hand on Sarah's trembling shoulder. We don't know yet, Olivia said firmly. But we aren't leaving until we do. Sarah looked up. Eyes hollow. Everyone leaves. Detective. The reporters left. The lawyers left. Sterling owns the road out of town, just like he owns everything else. Olivia's gaze lifted to the massive factory looming on the hill, its lights blurring in the mist. Not this time, she promised. But as they walked back to the car, Olivia felt a headache starting behind her eyes, a sharp, metallic throb. It tasted like pennies. It was the same headache Leo Miller had complained about 3 weeks ago. And Olivia didn't like coincidences. Not in a town where children were dying. Sterling Industries' headquarters wasn't just a factory. It was a cathedral of glass and steel. Arthur Sterling didn't sit behind a desk. He stood by a massive window, watching workers change shifts below. I have 5,000 employees, Detective Hart, Arthur said without turning around. That's 5,000 families who eat because of me, who have health insurance because of me. Olivia didn't blink. And one family who buried a child because of you. Arthur turned. He was older than his photos, but his eyes were sharp, intelligent, and completely devoid of warmth. I have read the reports, Arthur sighed, walking to a small bar cart. It is a tragedy. A genetic anomaly, perhaps, or mold in their old, decrepit houses. It's not mold, Marcus said, pulling out his tablet. Leo Miller had high concentrations of thallium and arsenic in his blood. Those are byproducts of battery refining. You're refining? Arthur's smile was thin, patient. We are a zero-discharge facility, Detective Cole. We won the Green Globe Award last month. We don't dump waste. We recycle everything. Marcus's eyes narrowed. Recycle? Arthur corrected smoothly. We process it. We turn industrial byproduct into harmless, inert aggregate. It's used for road fill in other states. It leaves this town in sealed containers. He picked up a remote. A large wall screen flickered on. Live footage of the factory floor. Spotless. Bright. A performance that never blinked. Feel free to inspect the logs, Arthur offered. We have nothing to hide. In fact, I insist you look. I want the police to clear my name so I can get back to saving the planet. Olivia held his gaze. Too perfect. Too rehearsed. We'll take a look, Olivia said coldly. But we're not just looking at logs. We're looking at everything. Arthur's smile didn't waver, but his eyes hardened. Be careful, detective. Accidents happen in industrial zones. It's a dangerous world. 3 days later, they were hitting a dead end. The factory logs were impeccable. The river samples were cleaner than bottled water. Marcus slammed his laptop shut in their cramped motel room. He's right, Marcus groaned, rubbing his face. On paper, he's a saint. The waste goes out. The money comes in. No leaks. Olivia paced the small room, jaw tight. Her metallic headache hadn't gone away. There is no such thing as a perfect system, Olivia said, voice low. He's lying. I can feel it. Feelings aren't evidence. Marcus snapped, the stress finally cracking his calm. We've been here 72 hours. We have nothing. The chief is going to pull us by Friday. Olivia turned on him, eyes flashing. Then we find something by Friday. Silence filled the room. Thick. Hot toe. Marcus exhaled. I'm sorry, he muttered. I saw the Parker boy today, in the hospital. He's fading, Liv. We're running out of time? Olivia softened. Just a little. She sat across from him. Then we go back to the beginning, she said. Arthur's words replayed in her mind. Sealed containers. Out of state. Perfect paperwork. Arthur said. The waste is shipped out of state. Olivia said. Sealed containers. Marcus nodded, reopening his laptop. I tracked the trucking logs. Sterling Logistics. They haul the aggregate to a processing plant in Ohio. Olivia's eyes narrowed. Check the mileage. Marcus blinked. The mileage? If they're driving to Ohio, Olivia said quietly. The trucks should log about 400 miles round trip. Check fuel receipts. Marcus typed fast. He hacked into the local fuel depot database, where company trucks refueled. He froze. What? Olivia leaned in. That's weird, Marcus whispered. He pointed at the screen. The trucks leave the factory full, but they refuel 2 hours later. And the odometer, he swallowed. It only shows a 20-mile increase. Olivia stared. 20 miles? Marcus's voice rose. Excitement cutting through exhaustion. They aren't going to Ohio. They're driving 10 miles out, dumping the load, and coming back. Olivia's stomach tightened. Or, she said, dread forming, they aren't dumping it. They're delivering it. Marcus frowned. Delivering it where? Who wants toxic waste within 10 miles of the town? Olivia stood. Fast. Purposeful. I don't know, but I know who drives those trucks. The bar was called the Rusty Pipe. It smelled like stale beer and sawdust. Frankie, a former driver for Sterling Logistics, sat in the back corner. He kept checking the door. His knee bounced like it had its own heartbeat. I don't want trouble. Frankie hissed when Olivia and Marcus slid into the booth. Sterling has eyes everywhere. Marcus slid a photo across the table. Truck logs, fuel receipts, odometer shots. We know about the mileage, Frankie, Marcus said quietly. We know you didn't go to Ohio. Frankie stared. His hands trembled. I got kids, he whispered. I needed the job. Olivia leaned in, voice calm. Leo Miller was a kid too. He's dead, Frankie. Frankie flinched. He drank too fast. It wasn't supposed to hurt anyone, he murmured, eyes wet. They told us it was treated. They said it was eco-fill, safe as sand. Where did you take it? Olivia demanded. Where is the waste, Frankie? Frankie looked around the bar like the walls could report him. Then he leaned in close. The batching plant, he whispered. Sterling Construction. The concrete mixer. Marcus and Olivia exchanged a look. Horrified. Concrete? Marcus breathed. They're putting it in the concrete. Frankie nodded, tears slipping down his cheeks. Not just putting it in. It is the concrete. They crush the slag, mix it with cement binder. They call it greencrete. It's cheaper than gravel. Way cheaper. Olivia's throat tightened. And where did they use this concrete? Frankie's voice cracked. Everywhere. The new sidewalks. The library. The park foundation. The affordable housing project. He paused. Then whispered the part that felt like a curse. We paved the whole town with it. The air in Olivia's lungs turned cold. Arthur Sterling wasn't hiding the poison. He was surrounding people with it. Inside walls, under floors, beneath playgrounds. Marcus stood abruptly. We need a sample. Physical proof. We need a core. Olivia's jaw clenched. We can't just chip a sidewalk. We need concentration. We need a residential structure. Marcus's eyes flashed. Sarah's house. The extension. She said it was built last year. The night was pitch black when they pulled up to Sarah Miller's house. The rain had stopped. A heavy fog sat on the yard like breath. Olivia knocked. Sarah, she called softly. Sarah opened the door. Her face was pale. Her eyes were red. They were here, she whispered. Who? Marcus asked. Men in suits, Sarah said, holding up a check like it was poison. A settlement for pain and suffering. But I have to sign a non-disclosure. Olivia's voice went sharp. Don't sign it. Marcus stepped closer. Fierce. We know what they did, Sarah. They built your home out of the poison. Sarah stared at them. Disbelief fighting terror. My house? She gasped. But it's new. That's the problem, Olivia said. We need to check the walls. May we? Sarah stepped back, nodding. Numb. Marcus brought a sledgehammer and a handheld detector from the trunk. He moved down the hall, past family photos, past a shelf of little trophies, soccer, spelling bee, a small plastic astronaut. Then he stopped. Leo's door. Sarah's breath caught like it hit a wall. Please, she whispered. Please don't break his room. Olivia's voice softened. We won't touch his things. We just need the truth. Sarah nodded, but her eyes were already glassy. Marcus stepped inside. The room was too clean, too quiet. A neatly made bed, a blue blanket with faded stars, a paperback book open on the pillow, like Leo had only stepped out for a second. Marcus swallowed. Sorry, kid, he murmured. He walked to the wall beside the bed. The one you said he slept against? Marcus asked gently. Sarah nodded fast. Yes, she choked. Right there. He liked the warmth. Olivia's stomach dropped. Warmth. Heater? Summer. Marcus raised the sledgehammer. He hesitated. One beat. Then swung. Crack. Drywall exploded into white dust. Crack. A second swing. Behind it, gray concrete blocks. Ordinary. Normal. Until Marcus brought the detector close. Click. Click. Then faster. Click, click, click. Olivia's pulse surged. What does it mean? Sarah whispered. Marcus didn't look away from the numbers. It's off-gassing, he said, voice tight. When the room gets warm, it releases poison into the air. Sarah's face went blank. like her mind refused the sentence. No, she breathed. No, he just had headaches. Olivia felt that sharp metallic throb behind her eyes again. The same one. The same taste. Sarah stepped closer, trembling. She touched the edge of the broken wall. White dust smeared her fingers. Leo used to say, "The air felt heavy," she whispered. Her voice cracked. He said it tasted like pennies. Olivia's chest clenched. Marcus's jaw tightened. He was breathing it every night. Marcus said quietly. Sarah's knees buckled. Olivia caught her before she hit the floor. Sarah pressed her palm to her mouth. A sob escaped anyway. Small, destroyed. "I put his bed there," she whispered. "I lined up the stars on his blanket so he'd feel safe." Olivia held her tighter. "This isn't on you," Olivia said. "This was built to hurt you." Sarah shook her head hard. "He would wake up crying," she gasped. "And I thought it was nightmares?" Marcus stared at the exposed blocks. His voice went low. "It wasn't a nightmare," he said. "It was the wall." Olivia's hands shook with rage. "A slow, invisible trap," she whispered. Then the front window shattered. A canister rolled into the room. Marcus's head snapped up. "Gas," he shouted. "Get down." Smoke. Tear gas filled the room instantly. Olivia grabbed Sarah. "Crawl." To the back door. They scrambled through the hallway. Coughing, eyes burning. They burst out into the yard, gasping for air. 3 figures stood in the fog. Private security, dark uniforms. No badges, just faces that didn't belong in a small town. "Stay where you are," a voice shouted. Marcus lifted his hands slowly, protecting the sample in his pocket without showing it. Sarah's breathing turned sharp. Then a second voice cut through the fog. "Stop." A young man stepped forward into the porch light spill. Julian Sterling, Arthur's son. His clothes were too clean for the mud around them, but his eyes were wrecked. He held a pistol, and his hand was shaking so badly it looked like the gun weighed 100 pounds. "Julian," Olivia rasped. "You don't want this." Julian swallowed hard. "My father knows," he blurted. "He knows you spoke to Frankie." Marcus's voice snapped. "You knew." Julian flinched. "I knew it was wrong," he cried. "I didn't know it would kill." He cut himself off, throat tight, then whispered, broken, "I tried to stop it. He told me the town needed jobs more than it needed truth." Olivia took one careful step forward. "You can fix this," she said. "Put the gun down. Help us." Julian's gaze flicked upward. A tiny red light blinked above the tree line. A drone. Silent. Watching. Recording. Julian's face drained. "He's watching right now," Julian whispered. "He always watches." Marcus's voice sharpened. "Then let him watch you do the right thing." Julian's mouth trembled. He looked at Sarah, at her swollen eyes, at the check in her hand. "I'm sorry," he said, barely audible. Then louder, like he forced air into courage. "Run," Julian snapped. "Storm drain. By the creek. Now." Olivia's eyes widened. "Julian, go," he screamed. One of the security men shifted, lifting his weapon. Julian's panic snapped into something harder. He raised the pistol, up, at the drone. A single shot. Crack. Fun. Sparks burst in the fog. The drone spiraled, whining, then slammed into the trees. The security men hesitated. Half a second. Julian lunged toward them, not to win, just to delay. "Move," he shouted. Olivia grabbed Sarah. Marcus grabbed Olivia's sleeve, and they ran, through wet grass, through darkness, through the sound of boots crashing behind them. They reached the creek line, found the storm drain, opening like a mouth in the earth. They crawled in, cold metal, standing water, breathing through pain. Sarah sobbing silently so she wouldn't make sound. Marcus pulled the concrete sample from his pocket. Still there, still heavy, still real. Olivia pressed her forehead to the damp wall and whispered into the dark, "We have it." By morning, they looked like ghosts, mud-streaked, eyes red, hands shaking from cold and adrenaline. But Marcus held the sample like it was a heartbeat. "The opening ceremony," Olivia said, voice flat with purpose. "The new library. It's today at 9. Marcus glanced down at his torn sleeve. "We look like hell." Olivia's gaze hardened. "We don't need to look good. We need to be loud." What Olivia didn't know yet was Arthur Sterling wasn't just hiding poison. He was celebrating it. The Silver Creek Public Library was a masterpiece of modern architecture. A crowd of 200 people stood in the plaza. News vans lined the street. Arthur Sterling stood at the podium, fresh and rested, smiling like a man who'd never lost a minute of sleep. "This library is more than a building," Arthur boomed over the speakers. "It is a testament to our sustainable future, a gift to the families of this town." The crowd applauded. Screech. Olivia's car didn't stop at the barricade. It drove over the curb, crushing the welcome sign, and skidded to a halt right in front of the stage. The applause died instantly. Arthur froze. Olivia stepped out, mud on her boots, hair damp, red jacket torn. She didn't look polished. She looked dangerous. "Detective Hart," Arthur said, condescension dripping. "I see you've decided to make a scene before you're fired." "I'm not fired yet," Olivia shouted, her voice echoing off the library walls. Marcus jumped out of the passenger side. He didn't have a gun. He had the sledgehammer. Arthur's smile tightened. "What are you doing?" "I thought—" Marcus raised the hammer. "Demonstrating your sustainable future." Boom. The pristine cornerstone cracked. Boom. The marble facade shattered. Underneath, gray concrete stared out like a bruise. "Look at it," Olivia screamed to the crowd. "Don't just look at the pretty paint. Look at the brick." Marcus held up the chunk of concrete from Sarah's wall. "This is what killed Leo Miller," Olivia shouted. "It's toxic waste. He mixed it into the concrete. You are standing on it right now." The crowd murmured. Confusion turned to fear. "Lies," Arthur roared, face reddening. "Security, remove them." Sarah Miller stepped forward, small but fierce. "My son died in a room made of this," she cried. "Test it." A reporter near the front lifted a portable monitor. His eyes widened. "It's spiking," he yelled. "The readings are spiking near the hole." Panic rippled through the crowd. Arthur looked around. He was losing them. "It's safe?" Arthur insisted, desperate. "It's encapsulated. It passes regulations." A voice cut through the noise. "No." Julian Sterling limped onto the stage from the back. A black eye, a broken arm. Arthur's face twisted. "Julian," he hissed, "get off the stage." Julian walked to the microphone. His voice trembled, but it didn't break. "We faked the safety tests," Julian said. "Batch 404. We knew it was off-gassing. We used it anyway." Arthur grabbed his son by the collar. "You ungrateful." Olivia was on the stage in a second. She didn't tackle him. She placed a hand on his chest and shoved him back. Hard, clean, final. It's over, Arthur, Olivia said quietly. Marcus stepped in, handcuffs in hand. The click was amplified by the microphone. Click, click. The crowd went silent. You're under arrest, Marcus said, voice steady, for the death of Leo Miller and for poisoning an entire town. Arthur stared at the crowd. The camera zoomed in. His smile vanished. I built this town, he whispered, madness flashing behind his eyes. I own you all. Sarah stepped closer, eyes wet, jaw set. Not anymore, she said. Now you're just a prisoner. The scandal was national news for months. They called it Poison Town. The demolition took a year. Every sidewalk, every foundation, every school wall. Torn up, removed. Sterling Industries filed for bankruptcy. Arthur Sterling was sentenced to life without parole. 6 months later, Olivia and Marcus sat on a bench in the newly rebuilt park. This time, the ground was real grass. Kids played tag in the distance. Their laughter sounded normal. It's quiet, Marcus said, watching them. A good quiet, Olivia replied. The air feels lighter. Sarah Miller walked over. She looked healthier. The dark circles under her eyes were fading. We planted the oak tree today, Sarah said softly. For Leo. Olivia smiled back. Gentle. He would have liked it. Sarah looked at the detectives. Her voice shook. And you saved us. Everyone said it was impossible, but you didn't stop. Marcus tried to joke. We're stubborn. But his eyes were misty. Olivia stood and adjusted her jacket. The metallic headache was finally gone. What's next? Sarah asked. Olivia looked toward the horizon. There's a case in Vermont, she said. Missing kids at a boarding school. No leads. Sarah swallowed. Sounds like they need you. They need us, Marcus corrected, standing beside his partner as they walked to the car, leaving the clean, safe park behind them. Olivia took a slow breath. The world was full of monsters. Like Arthur Sterling, monsters who hid behind smiles and charity. But as long as she was breathing, those monsters would never feel safe. You driving? Marcus asked, tossing her the keys. Olivia caught them. Her grip was steady. I'm driving. All characters and institutions in this story are entirely fictional, and any resemblance to real ones is purely coincidental.